Hello, everyone.
Hello, cinema peeps. Today is another special episode.
Mm-hmm.
Woot woot. Wait a minute, are you eating a muffin?
Maybe.
How dare you? You know I can't have it. You can't share with me.
I'm sorry. It was from my lunch and it's been sitting here staring at me, calling my name, so I just had to have a bite.
Okay, fine. I'm gonna get a freezy after this then.
Ooh, yes.
Big long crush freezy. Super exciting. Just like this episode. Oh, nailed it.
Good segue.
Thank you. Getting real good at these. Real good. But today, we're going to be talking about blockbusters.
Yes, summer blockbusters, to be specific.
Mm-hmm. You know, because even though, well, some theaters are starting to open up, there's not really any new movies coming out.
Nope.
At least until maybe September.
Yeah, it was.
Maybe.
I read that it was supposed to be, like, Wonder Woman was still supposed to, like, continue debuting in theaters this August, but then you had informed me that they pushed the premiere back to October, so that's not happening anymore.
Yeah, and I think the only movie I know is coming September, and honestly might get pushed back again, is the Kingsman prequel.
Ah.
But I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to look up a date or flash it on screen. Boop! There it is. Woohoo!
I'm guessing, so this is now going to be the first time in history that we haven't had a summer blockbuster because of the pandemic.
Well, at least premiering in theaters. There has been some doing, like, home premieres, which isn't always quite the same.
No.
But that's what we're here to talk about, is our summer movie experiences and summer movies that we enjoy.
Take a trip down memory lane.
Yeah. But I guess the important question, because me and Kendra were kind of talking about this before the podcast, is what we consider a summer blockbuster.
Yes.
And I still don't know.
Because, I mean, yeah, like, when you think of summer blockbuster, obviously, you think of, like, the big movies that come out that summer.
Mm-hmm.
I know sometimes I'll consider a summer blockbuster being, like, actually summer related in some way.
Yeah.
But
that's fair, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, because to me, too, and honestly, I'd have to look at the date after the fact, or maybe you know, but to me, The Hunger Games I consider as a summer blockbuster, but I actually don't even think it came out in the summer.
It did not. Those movies actually, I think almost all of them, I'm not 100% sure about the last two, but I know the first two actually were the start of the winter.
Yes, I do recall that.
Winter blockbusters, if that's what we're going to call it. Because they always came out like November, like kind of mid-November or late November, which is always kind of the busy start to the kind of like the winter films that would be coming out. I guess it's also weird to me because as I was talking to Kendra about this, I was looking up. You can find lists upon lists of like biggest summer blockbusters of all time and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And there's some that are like Jaws, which to me is like, yeah, it has like summer themes, the beach and stuff. Mm-hmm. But there's stuff like Star Wars, which would be considered a summer blockbuster because it did come out in May.
Mm-hmm. Now it's not. It's a Christmas blockbuster, but
right. But I think for me, that one's harder to say like, oh, it's a summer blockbuster because I feel like it's transcended the summer blockbuster status.
Yeah.
I feel like every movie tries to go for the summer blockbuster because it's almost like the tippity top of the ranks.
Yeah.
And then I feel when you become your own franchise, I think you transcend the summer blockbuster because now you become even greater.
Yeah, and being too that like in the last few years, Marvel's kind of taken over that summer blockbuster spot.
Oh, yeah.
So like everybody was like, well, we can't compete with that. So
well, especially when you were like, oh, well, what do you consider a summer blockbuster? I was like, oh yeah, superhero movies, because like the last couple years, it's like been superhero movies.
I'd almost say like the last decade.
Oh yeah. Easily. With like the odd Pixar film to kind of in the gaps in between.
Yes. But on that note, do you have like an all-time favorite summer blockbuster, or what are your favorite summer blockbusters, Kaylee?
An all-time favorite summer blockbuster.
I guess it's hard to pick an all-time favorite because there's just so many good ones. But like, do you have like specific ones that stick out that you enjoy a lot?
Guardians of the Galaxy, I think, is always top-notch. Yeah, and it's really, I'm trying to think of ones that aren't superhero film focused. Mm-hmm. Because like you said, like the past decade, that's all it's been, which there's nothing wrong with that. I think they're great. Mm-hmm. But yeah, trying to think of something, what
Because it's hard to count, like, the older ones as being summer blockbusters, because obviously we weren't alive when they were summer blockbusters, but still, like you said, like, Jaws, like, Grease was even a summer blockbuster, but Grease is also kind of summer-related, so you kind of relate those as being summer-themed-esque movies for being summer blockbusters. Like, to me, I don't even think it was a summer blockbuster, but, like, the movie Aquamarine with Sarah Paxton, where she's a mermaid with Emma Roberts, that's not a summer blockbuster, but like a summer favorite film of mine. Yeah. I always watch it in the summertime just because obviously it's summer related, so.
Okay, I thought of one that kind of ties to one of the memories I have going to the movies in the summer. Yeah. But Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes, that's a great one.
Like, that was always, those summers were the best.
Yeah,
but I can't remember. I don't know how I wish I could remember the exact month, but there was a weird time in we were in junior high at the time, where like Spider-Man 3, Shrek the Third, and Pirates of the Caribbean 3 were all out at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
So like in a span between a week, or not a week, like at least a couple weeks, we saw all 3 of those films. It was like the trilogy of 3s.
Nice.
And I remember we sat through Shrek the Third and we're like, man, this isn't funny at all. What is going on? And I think we all were like, yeah, I think Pirates was the best out of those 3, because Spider-Man 3 wasn't very good. But it was just like, I don't know. It was just really funny that was like all these movies just came out at like the perfect time for us all to watch them. Mm-hmm. And then I don't remember which movie it was, but it was one of the ones with the 3s, and my friend brought his younger sister, and I think she brought a friend, and next thing I know, because it was the summer, and we were probably one of the few people in these movies, and then I look over, and next thing I know, his sister and her friend are rolling down the aisles, and he's like, yeah, let's do that too, and I'm like, no, first of all, ew. Yeah. I mean, I didn't know how bad theater floors are, but now that I do know, I'm like, oh, nope. And I guess it was so weird to me because I'm like, I'm here to watch the movie, not roll around in the theater. Like, that's so weird.
Oh my gosh.
But I always remember that. Oh, it's so good. I don't know if it's one of my favorite summer blockbusters, but I remember, because we go visit our family every summer out in the middle of nowhere. But they do have a movie theater. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I'm genuinely impressed by the fact they only show like maybe 4 to 5 movies at this movie theater, but they're almost always the most current updated movies that are out currently. That sentence didn't make a whole lot of sense, but what I mean is, so like for example, when we went to go visit Spider-Man Far From Home had just come out, and it released at their theater at the exact same time.
That's a good one. I gotta watch that again.
So yeah, they always had movies that were up to date.
Nice.
And one of the ones we saw together was Pixels.
Oh yeah,
which I think a lot of people don't care for because it's like bad Adam Sandler films. But I don't know. I enjoyed it so much, and we were sitting in the theater, and I think that's the best part about it, is that because we go to a small town theater, nobody's ever there. Yeah. Like, maybe 2 other people, but, like, it's just me, my brother, my cousins, we just, like, take over the theater, so it's just us laughing and making stupid jokes, and I don't know why, that movie was just so funny at the time. It just, the whole line was like, oh, my husband ran away with the stripper named Candy. It starts, or Cinnamon with a K. So it's like, what? And it was just so dumb.
Oh my god. I gotta give Adam Sandler a little bit of props, because he's got some pretty funny films. Like some of them, like, you know, people aren't particular to, but he does have some pretty, like, genuinely funny moments in his movies. Like Grown Ups, I find, is a good one. That's technically another summer blockbuster, because both those came out in the summer, but the Grown Ups movies are actually quite funny. I liked Bedtime Stories. That one was a good one of his. I know it was more of a kid's movie, but I enjoyed that one.
Okay, so this one's considered a summer blockbuster, but so Toy Story 3, when it came out, I was actually finishing my math diploma.
Oh yeah.
And I had literally just finished it, and me and some friends ran to the mall so we could see the movie. Oh my goodness. It was just like such weird timing with that film because it was the ending with Andy giving away all his toys and moving on to college. And of course, I just finished my grade 12 math diploma. Oh, and I was tearing up real hard in the theater. I was like, oh.
Oh no, don't die.
Goddamn. Death. and now looking back on it, it's really funny because I was sitting next to one of my friend's brothers, and he just didn't give two shits. He's like, where's the bad guy? And I'm just, like, trying not to, like, burst out crying. Aww. And he's just there stone-faced, like, what is this? But that's a memory I have of watching movies in the summer. Oh, it was so moving. I don't want to move on yet. I'm not ready.
Aww.
Too big of a world.
I think one of my oldest summer movie memories is, and this is, like, real old, like, back when drive-in theaters were still a thing.
They're always a thing. I'm just kidding.
I wish they still were. I wish they were more, like, at least in Edmonton, I wish there was, like, more drive-in theaters. But there was a drive-in theater that we went to go see the movie Flipper, the dolphin.
Yeah, okay.
That's like real old school. But yeah, that was, like, the first and only movie I've seen in a drive-in theater. Like, technically I did, like, they did this cool, like, drive-in theater for Greece a few years ago where it was, like, at this old school car wash, so it looked really, like, 50s decorated, and they had some old school cars there, but you actually didn't, like, drive up and watch the movie. You just, like, parked somewhere, grabbed a lawn chair, and then sat in front of the parking lot, or somewhere in the parking lot, and watched the movie on the side of the building.
That's still kind of cool.
Yeah, it still kind of counts, but yeah, that's, like, one of my oldest summer movie memories is, like, going to see Flipper in the drive-in theater.
Nice. Well, I think now drive-in movies are pretty popular. And someone told me there was one somewhere around Calgary.
Yeah?
That I've never heard of, so.
I know that the people were petitioning to have it done again, so I wish, like, I'll have to see if maybe there's somewhere happening in Edmonton, but, yeah. We were gonna try, like, my family's done it before where we've, like, thrown up a sheet on the side of our house and, like, done it outside.
Ooh, nice.
Because we have a projector, right? So we've done that, and maybe we'll try and do that again. I know we definitely, in the summertime, me and my friends did a Harry Potter movie marathon outside.
Ooh, nice.
So that was pretty cool.
That's dope. So back to, like, so when me and my cousins, there was a town fair, or a street fair, one day.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of just walked around. It was pretty small, but, like, it's a really big deal for the community. And it was fun. But we ended up just walking to the movie theater, because, again, nobody was there. So we did a back-to-back feature that day. I believe we watched... Shoot, what was it? I know one of them was AntMan, the first AntMan for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember. Maybe the other one... I don't think the other one was Pixels. Or maybe it was. I don't know. I just remember we took advantage of the fact everybody was downtown in air quotes, you know, the main street. And we went and watched movies.
Nice.
And it's become like I don't want to say religious thing, but it's like now like a family thing where every time we come down, we have to see at least one movie at the movie theater there. And I remember just watching AntMan, and I'm just like, man, I'm really bored. To be fair, like, maybe it was just because we had been in the sun for hours. But, like, AntMan's not one of my favorite movies, but I know a lot of people are like, nah, AntMan's really good. I'm like, it's alright.
I remember the first time I watched it, I was kind of bored through it, and then I watched it again. I'm like, yeah, you know what? It's not bad, actually. I think maybe that was just because now that, like, you've seen the rest of the Marvel movies, you kind of want to be able to piece all the stories together. So now that you know what's happening, like, after the fact, you can kind of go back and watch it and be like, okay, so that's why that's happened that way.
Maybe. I know that one had a lot of issues because they were trying to get that one director to be on the project, and then either the studio made him quit or he just quit because of the studio.
Yeah.
Shoot, what was his name? It's a weird name, too.
Was it Taika Waititi? No.
It's the guy who directed Scott Pilgrim.
Oh, yeah.
Something. I thought it started with an E, but I think I'm crazy.
Yeah. Edgar Wright?
Thank you.
Yes.
Edgar Wright.
You said weird names, so Taika Waititi was the first thing that came to my mind.
That is fair. But yeah, I don't know. Ant-Man, I think it's still so... I actually like the sequel, Ant-Man and the Wasp, better, but I know some people don't like it, but, you know... Everybody's got their picks.
Yeah.
Although, speaking of drive-in movies, I think I've shared that photo with you before where all those people at the beach are watching Jaws.
Yes.
And they're all in little floaties.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to do that. I think that'd be so funny.
I would love to do that too. Kelsey and I tried to do an attempted version of that at West Edmonton Mall Water Park.
Oh, yeah?
But it was really hard to concentrate because they had the tiniest screen to, like, put it on. And you know how big West Ed Water Park is.
Yes.
It's a long ways away from the screen already.
Mm-hmm.
So you either have to be, like, sitting right there. You can't really be much in the water. And, like, it was really quiet. They didn't really have, like, a whole lot of the audio going. And people were more so, like, chatting over top of it, too. So it was just kind of hard to be able to enjoy it. So I would, if they were doing it elsewhere, like, maybe outside, and if people were actually more invested in the movie and less about just, like, swimming around and yakking, then I'd be like, yeah, let's do it.
Oh, yeah. Well, slightly off topic, but, when we go to the Harry Potter concerts,
Mm-hmm.
I feel, again, you'd want to kind of have that kind of atmosphere to it because a lot of people who go to these concerts, because, they're basically just playing the movie on the screen and then there's live people doing the music, which is really cool. But majority of the people who go to these things have probably watched these movies like 100 times. Like, they almost don't need the audio to hear it, but everyone's still very respectful and quiet. But they do encourage, like, a lot of, like, oh, cheer for your houses. And so, like, there's a lot of, like, fun fan interaction.
That's cool.
With it. So I feel like, if you did a strict thing where you're like, it's for Jaws, I feel like that would work better because I feel like people would respect it, because they're like, oh, we're all fans here. But they'd want to, they'd do, like, little banter and stuff like that would make the experience really enjoyable and unique.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you scream, or you're like, oh, when the shark comes around, like,
or everyone, ba-da, ba-da,
ba, yeah.
Like, that would be dope as hell.
Hell yeah, I would love that. And I feel like too, it'd be an even more realistic experience being, like, outside on a lake somewhere instead of in a swimming pool in West End Mall.
I mean, yeah, I think you could probably still do it at West End, but it would have to be like, we are closing, it's a special event just for this.
Well, they did that.
Oh.
But it was just that everybody who came was either just like, they just didn't really focus on the movie. They were just kind of like...
losers.
Right.
I'd say sorry, but I don't care. So I also happened to notice that E.T. is on here for a summer blockbuster, and I couldn't help but notice on Instagram that you apparently watched the film for the first time. Do you want to tell us more a little about that?
Oh my god. So here's a little background for those who don't know. But I'm very scared of E.T. E.T. creeps me out. He always has, ever since the 3rd grade when I first watched the movie. He scared me. He traumatized me for a good many years. And since 3rd grade, so that's about 20 years ago, I hadn't seen the film since. So it scarred me that much. A couple of days ago, we were looking for a movie to watch, and it was on Netflix, and we were like, you know what? Should we do it? And I said, you know what? It's time. It's been 20 years. I feel like I can handle it. And so we started watching it, and we gave up 30 minutes in.
Really?
Yeah, it was too many flashbacks for me.
Wow.
But I just, like, having watched that first 30 minutes, just, like, the whole part where, like, he's lost in the woods and they're chasing him and, like, Elliot finds him and stuff like that, like, I've now realized the certain aspects of horror movies that scare me are very similar to certain scenes in E.T. So it's just kind of funny to me to like get that connection of, like, I couldn't understand why certain, like, scenes in, like, supernatural or, like, horror movies really spooked me, and now I know why. It's because of E.T., because, like, I'm not a huge fan of cornfields. Like, cornfields really, like, creep me out. They give me the heebies.
The heebie-jeebies.
And it's because, they find him in the cornfield.
Right.
They find E.T. in the cornfield. The creepy long fingers, like we did in our Deadly Presence short film. Mm-hmm. That was something that always gave me the heebie-jeebies, and that's also because of E.T., because he's got the creepy long fingers, too. I didn't put that together until I saw a couple of the scenes where they just show his fingers, like, creeping around the corner. And, and then just his little waddle. Oh my god, it just creeps me out. But yeah, I couldn't do it. So who knows, maybe in another 20 years I'll be able to watch the full-length movie. But
I don't even know if I've really watched or finished it.
It's definitely, like, a very heavy film, like story-wise at least. It's a heavy film for a kid's film. I definitely wouldn't watch it if you're looking for something a little more lighthearted. Yeah, there's just some stuff in there that really, really traumatized me as a kid, so...
I just remember we did the E.T. ride at Universal.
It's gone now, apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's gone from Universal Studios.
Oh, weird. Well, maybe, honestly, maybe that was a good call, because there was this whole thing where you, like, filled out an ID badge and got your picture taken, which I thought was cool, but I thought you got to keep it after. You do not. So I was like, what is the point of doing all this? This seems really stupid.
Yeah, and what do they do with the ID badges afterwards?
They just recycle them.
Oh.
And then they just reuse them. Yeah, it was just very weird. Like, I just remember, like, the first couple bits, I'm like, oh, yeah, this is, like, the movie, like, there's the police cars, and then you're in little bicycles, and you fly up when the flying part happens, and you're like, oh, yeah, this is, like, the movie, cool, and then you go through, like, this fever dream, cocaine-filled scene where there's, like, all different kinds of aliens. Last time I checked, in at least the E.T. universe, there was just that guy, so I don't know where they were drawing all this other things from. It was
there's in the movie, because I haven't seen the ending in 20 years, but at least at the beginning there are like multiple ETs collecting like stuff. Yeah,
and they kind of show that, but they show other creatures.
Oh.
Like other alien species that I've never seen.
Weird.
Again, to be fair, like maybe there's some extra lore I don't know about or something, but like...
I didn't even realize E.T. had lore.
Yeah, right? That's how I feel. But yeah, maybe it's a good thing they're getting rid of that ride.
Yeah.
It is.
I mean, it's sad because, I mean, obviously E.T. is like Steven Spielberg's baby. It's like his most iconic... Well, not most... Yeah. Would it be his most iconic film?
Maybe.
I mean, most of his films are pretty iconic, but I'd say like that's the one that they associate with him the most is E.T.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. One other show. Technically it's not a movie.
Okay.
But I also associate it as like a summer blockbuster is Stranger Things.
Oh yeah.
Because I know, like, I think the first season came out in the summer, and then they kind of did it more as, like, or at least the second one came out in October, and then maybe the third one came out in September, or in summer again?
The third one for sure came out in the summer because it came out during the same time Stampede was coming out, so they did this whole Stranger Things. They had a bunch of promotional stuff everywhere for it.
Right.
And there was like all these dead tentacle things and all these dead rats. At the time, you're walking through the park being like, why are there all these dead rats? And then you watch the season and go, oh, that's why.
Yeah.
So it was really cool. And there was a couple rides they decked out to be more Stranger Things-esque.
That's cool.
Which I thought was really neat. Just kind of the old atmosphere was really fun.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I definitely would count that as like a summer movie, summer show, summer blockbuster kind of thing.
It's like a new hybrid.
Mm-hmm.
That's like not, like, because yeah, it didn't really come out in theaters, but...
It still felt like a movie.
Yeah. I think a lot of people would be like, oh yeah, that's summer. Oh, I don't know why it made me think of it, but the High School Musical, the second one.
Yes,
Where they're just like, summer!
What time is it? Summertime.
Ugh, my goodness.
Ooh, another good one too is, for me at least, is Mad Max Fury Road. Definitely a favorite.
I'm gonna have to watch some of those.
It blew me away when I saw that in theaters. Like, I went and watched it multiple times.
Blew her away. Like the dust in the desert.
And I think too, I don't know if like, because obviously sometimes like just the location of places kind of like emphasizes that memory.
Oh yeah.
But where I saw it, the movie theater over by me, it's like kind of a newer movie theater, but just they did a really good job of like placing the location of that movie theater, because if you go to see a movie just like around the evening time, like just as the sun's going down, the sun actually like shines right in through the lobby of the movie theater.
Ooh.
So it's annoying as hell for the employees because they're all blind by the end of it, but it's really, really pretty. And so when we finished watching Mad Max, we piled out into the lobby of the theater, and it was just like this gorgeous orange like sunset happening outside, and so it was just kind of like really, really fitting and really cool to like have that like after watching such an amazing film. We were like, yeah, let's go rip some shit up.
That's so funny. So apparently Die Hard is considered one of the best summer blockbusters, like in sales wise, which I find really funny considering everyone fights over the fact that like how much of a Christmas movie it should be considered.
Yeah.
And yet, apparently it's one of the best selling, so it had to have come out sometime in the summer, and yet
so.
Everyone's like, it's a Christmas movie. No, it's not a Christmas movie.
I mean, in the movie itself, it takes place during Christmas time, but...
Right? God, that's so funny.
That is funny.
And I mean, to be fair, I wouldn't really consider it a summer blockbuster either.
No, I definitely associate it with Christmas time now just because that's when they play it.
Right? But that's so funny.
Also, I think, again, I don't know if these were summer blockbusters. I'm sure some of them, if not all of them, probably are. But the Fast and Furious movies definitely are summer blockbusters for me.
Oh, I could see that, yeah.
We watched Fast 5 the other day.
Did you? Mm-hmm. How fast did they go?
Pretty fast. I just like the stunts in that one. That one's got some pretty cool stunts.
Nice. So here's another one that's considered a summer blockbuster, Jurassic Park.
Yes.
No, I remember, to be fair, I think it was Jurassic World we watched in the summer, because it was a really big hit in the summer.
Yeah.
But we had just gone to Universal, so we went all the rides and stuff.
Yeah.
And so when I saw Jurassic World in theaters back home, we did it in the fancy 4D seats where they move with the movie. Mm-hmm. Or not the 4D. Yeah, the D-box seats. Sorry, that's what they were called.
D-box, yeah.
Where they move with the film. I think it had... No, okay, sorry, I'm getting confused already. So yeah, the 4D... or no, that's the D-box. They just moved with the film. And it was funny to me because Universal, they do have a lot of rides where it is just like you sit in a seat and it moves around a lot. And it's just a screen that plays in front of you. Which is fine because obviously they can make more of them with not as much space and all that jazz. But it was just really funny because we have been on all these rides. And so when I was watching the movie, there was this scene where, I don't know the dinosaur's name, but it's when the crowd is by like the tank of water and the dinosaur comes out of the water and grabs the prey off the stick and then just slams into the water. I definitely I don't normally do this in films, but I definitely kind of jumped a little bit because in Universal, anytime that happened, it was water being sprayed at your face.
Oh yeah.
So I was just getting ready for this water.
You're just conditioned to react.
I was ready, and yet it never came, so I just looked really stupid. But it was so funny.
That's funny.
But yeah, I definitely I remember good memories going to go see at least the newer Jurassic Park movies, not the older ones, unfortunately.
I think I saw the third one in theaters.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I believe so. Definitely all the more recent ones. And yeah, I was terrified of the first one when I saw it for the first time. It was awesome. It was awesome.
It was terrifying, but awesome. But E.T., no bueno.
Yeah, no bueno for E.T.
No bueno.
I can do dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs, A. Other things, nay.
Indiana Jones is a good one, too. I remember seeing The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull in theaters.
Ooh.
And that was fun to watch.
Oh, I think, you know what? I think I saw that in theaters, too.
Yeah?
It was just really weird. Because I think that was actually, I don't know if that was maybe the first Indiana Jones movie I've ever seen.
Oh, really?
At that time. Yeah, I'm not sure if I actually saw the other ones. Actually, the ones I saw, because we have them on VHS, is we have all the young Indiana Jones.
Oh, yeah.
So, I knew that. But I don't think I saw a full Indiana Jones movie at that point. So seeing the King of the Crystal Skull was very confusing for me.
Ah, yes.
And from what I understand, and I mean, it wasn't hard to understand why that one is the worst.
Yeah.
Because just seeing it, I was like, why? He survived that in a fridge? Can you do that?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I still enjoyed it.
I think I just enjoyed the fact I was with my friend's family and they were just killing themselves laughing over the stupidest things. So then just made the experience even better. Sorry, I finally looked it up. So yeah, none of the Hunger Games movies have come out in the summer.
I thought so.
The closest apparently is the first one, and that came out in March.
Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. How about the newer Batman movies? Did any of those come out in the summer, like the Christopher Nolan ones?
I think so, because when I was looking up all the lists, they were showing a lot of Christopher Nolan's ones.
Because I was going to say, I remember when we saw Dark Knight Rises, is it?
Yes.
I just remember looking over at you and you crying at the end. You were just so upset and crying. I'm like, oh, yes!
It was beautiful. I love Batman.
It was a great movie. I'm trying to think if, there's any horror movies.
I saw there was a couple on the list. There was
the
almond. The almond?
Yes, the almond.
The spooky almond. Yeah. Now I have that song stuck in my head. It's no bueno.
Yeah, there are a plethora of iconic summer movies that we could just go on and on and on about.
I mean, I enjoy going back down memory lane, thinking of all those fun times in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Just like watching movies in the basement or watching them on the big screen.
Oh, yeah.
Movies unite us in so many little ways.
Mm-hmm. They have shaped our being.
Right? Hopefully next year, once everything's cleared up, we can have a bigger and better blockbuster summer next year. But until now, make any movie a blockbuster movie.
Yeah. You guys let us know what your favorite summer blockbuster movies were or are.
Down below.
Mm-hmm. But on that note, we will see you guys next time. Everybody have a great Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And keep watching movies.
Always.
Always keep watching movies.
Alrighty. Goodbye.
Bye, cinema peeps.
Monkey.
Monkey, and slap.